setting up here. Meeting
live. It says meeting is now streaming live on
Okay,
Facebook.
cool.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our second Veg 101 Facebook Live. So we are doing these, we're not exactly sure if they're going to be weekly, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how interested you all are. But yeah, basically this is one way for us to keep going with some vegetarian outreach and reaching out to people who are newly vegetarian or vegan, who may still have some questions. So we have some ideas of some things we can talk about today, but I want to remind you, please feel free to type in the comments if you have any questions. It doesn't even have to be about what we are discussing. Any general questions that you or friends or family of yours who are newly veg or thinking about going vegetarian or vegan, any questions that you have, and we will do our best to answer them. So just a quick introduction. I'm Barbie. I'm the Donor and Volunteer Resources Coordinator at the TVA.
I'm Sarah. I'm the Community and Engagement Coordinator at the TVA.
And I'm Lainey. I'm the Festival and Events Coordinator at TVA.
And we have one more. Don't we have another person with us, Lainey?
Oh, yes. This is Little Nipper. He is the resident ghost right now. He's about to shed. So if you ever wanted to see a leopard gecko before it sheds, this is him. So stay tuned if he does. No.
Just before we get started, Sarah, do we have any questions that have come in yet?
Not yet, but I will let you know. Yeah.
Okay, great. So what we thought we'd talk about, a lot of these kinds of Veg 101 presentations or webinars or articles you might read, you've probably sort of read to death already about, what are some good sources of protein, calcium, iron, and omega-3, omega-3 fatty acids. And so what we thought we would do today maybe is chat about those common sources, the easy ways that you can get those nutrients. What are some of our, favorite go-to meals or cool things we've been eating lately that will make it, just give you some ideas of how you can easily incorporate those foods into your diet. So again, it seems kind of lame or cheesy, sorry for the dairy word, but common sources of protein we know are, of course, tofu and soy products, beans and lentils. Whole grains are also really high in protein. A lot of times people don't realize, like if you look at a box of just whole wheat pasta or bread, there's like 8 to 10 grams of protein per serving. Good sources of iron, plant-based sources of iron are, again, legumes and lentils. In particular, chickpeas and lentils are good from the legume family. Leafy greens, certain ones such as spinach and kale, and pumpkin seeds as well are some good sources of iron. And for calcium, again, dark green leafy vegetables are great sources of calcium. The highest one is actually collards. That one is like way above all the rest of the green leafy vegetables. And I know for myself, at first, when I heard that and was trying to up my calcium, I really struggled with like, what am I going to do with collards? So that's something we'll chat about. But as well, some other good sources are broccoli, kale, and bok choy. Again, of course, soy products, tofu products. And then for omega-3s, you're looking to get things like chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, flax seeds. So let's, I guess we can just jump right into it. Does anyone want to start with a go-to favorite meal that uses some of those foods?
My go-to favorite meal lately has been Sam Turnbull's smoky chickpeas and tomatoes. And I think I talked about it last week too, but it's basically like a can of chickpeas, a can of crushed tomatoes, and some kale and some spices. And so it's checking so many of those boxes. Yeah. And it's got the tomatoes, so the vitamin C really helps with the iron absorption, right? So yeah, and it's so yummy and it takes 10 minutes to make, and it's just using pantry staples. So definitely recommend that one from It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken.
That sounds very good.
Mine is, well, I guess this is always like a staple go-to. It's kind of similar. It is just like a chili that I make. So it's got like the tomatoes. You've got, I like to put black beans and kidney beans in, but again, you can always throw chickpeas in there. I like how it's super flexible as well. So like, if you do want to put in like collard greens or spinach, you can just chuck those in there too. And I find actually sweet potato is really good in chili. So that's always like my secret ingredient that I put in. So
Mm.
yeah, easy way to get a ton of iron in.
Do you
Yeah.
do your sweet potato and something like that? Do you like cube it and you keep it sort of like the beans, or do you like get it all mushy?
Yeah, so what's the order that I put everything in? I do like onions, celery, peppers, those kinds of things first, and then I put in the sweet potato and beans and the spices and water a little bit after, and just let it cook for as long as I can, basically. And so by that time, the sweet potato is like really mushy, and some of it will break down and it will like make a really nice texture, and then some of it will be still a bit chunky. So I have like accidentally cubed them a bit too big, and it's like a bit, I like, it doesn't cook all the way through, but then once you have it in the fridge for like 2 or 3 days, it's so much better. So
Yeah,
it's one of
chili's
those
one of
meals
those
that
meals
age
that,
well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than okay. And have you guys ever? I just it seems like such an obvious thing, and maybe you're going to be like, "Duh, that's how you eat chili." But I just read recently about like putting your chili like over rice or quinoa and eating it that way. Have you ever done that?
Not
My
usually,
roommate does
no.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it before because we always do the over cornbread, which
Mhm.
again, very easy to make, especially vegan. It's like
Yeah.
just cornmeal basically. But yeah, she always eats chili with rice, and I'd never seen that before. But it's really good. It's almost like just like a bean stew and rice.
Yeah.
I guess that's what chili is in the end, anyways.
My other go-to for chili leftovers is chili dogs. So I'll take like some of my
Oh.
leftover chili and put it on a like an Eve's hot dog.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
would be like, again, like a triple whammy with all this stuff. Like you put chili on with beans on top of like an Eve's veggie dog, which probably also has like, I'm just kind of making this up, I'm guessing, but like 15 to 20 grams of protein or something. Like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
those
because they're
veggies.
fortified, right? So
Yeah.
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 What
I've
about
also
you, Barbie?
been, what's that?
What about you?
Oh, I was gonna say I've also really sort of been on this kick lately of like, yeah, lentil, like creamy sort of lentil stew, chili or curry kind of things, or soups. Yeah, so I've made a couple. I feel like I have these. I feel like sometimes the best recipes that I have are like these random recipes that like I've ripped out of like Runner's World magazine or something, or like Good Housekeeping that are just like that happen to be vegan. So I feel like yeah, in the last few weeks I made one. Yeah, like one was like a like a like yeah, coconut milk based sort of like lentil stew or curry kind of thing. And then one was more like a stew. I think it was called like a spicy peanut lentil soup actually, and it was really good. And yeah, what I like about those is, so again, you've got like the lentils are really high in iron, but those I find are also, yeah, a good way that I like to just like throw in leafy greens near the end and let them get all like, again, this is sort of preference if you like things like mushy and slimy, but I do. So it's like, I just let like the spinach, or again, this is a good opportunity to use collards. Because yeah, just let them get sort of wilty and really soft. So I'll put those in at like, if let's say if it's something that cooks for like 30 minutes or something, I'll put it in for like, if it's collards, I'll put it in for like 10 minutes because they're a little bit more like crunchy and hearty, versus like spinach or kale or something like that. But yeah, that's like that's sort of one of the easiest ways I feel like that I've been able to figure out how to eat collards. I know there's like the classic collard wrap that everyone talks about. That's always an option. You could also, I guess, sort of like put it on like to replace like, again, like lettuce on like a sandwich. But I don't know. I feel like collards aren't, for me personally, I don't know what you guys think. I don't feel like they're that tasty when they're raw. I feel like
When
Yeah.
it's raw, it's like kale where there's like that really strong stem in the middle, whatever it is. So tearing that out is always imperative. I learned that the hard way with kale. I was like,
Oh yeah.
"Ugh." But I actually really like, and I do this sometimes with kale. I'm actually not like a huge fan of kale. Don't know why,
You're
but
allowed. It's
I really
okay.
like, no, but
Me
I really
either.
like collards, which
Yeah.
who knows, but I like to just chop it up, and I like them a little bit more crunchy. So I just saute it. First I do like some onion, and then I saute it with like a little bit of olive oil and diced tomatoes. And it's so good. I would eat that for breakfast, but it's really good as like a side dish. And just cooked, I don't know, it tastes a lot better. It's one of those foods where I guess like broccoli, when it's cooked, it makes a huge difference. Like raw spinach, not a huge fan of, but cooked spinach, I like a lot better. So
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
the other way with carrots. Cooked carrots are disgusting, but raw carrots acceptable. So
Love carrots always. They're so good.
we do have a question of how to cook collards. So like Lainey, you just talked about how you like them cooked. So Barbie, how do you like them cooked?
Yeah, I like them a similar way, but with a different, I guess, like flavor profile. So I really like them sort of in like Southern style dishes. So what I might do is fry them up in a bit of like coconut oil and then with some liquid smoke. And then I'll pair them with just like a side of like baked beans, like the canned Heinz baked beans. And then you're getting, actually, it's interesting. So baked beans, again, maybe this is like everyone knows this, and I just discovered this. I didn't realize because they come in this like dark red sauce that they're actually made with like the white kidney beans.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so white,
They're pinto beans, like so they're like,
no, but they're not pinto beans. They're like the white beans, white kidney beans, I think, or cannellini beans is what they're called, right?
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Or I mean, maybe not always, but like I feel like Heinz ones and like classic. If you were to look up a recipe to like make your own baked beans, it would call for those. And so coincidentally, cannellini beans are actually higher in calcium than other beans. So again, so now you've got your collards and your white beans, which are high in iron and calcium. And then I think, am I right? I feel like Sarah, you're the expert. Are baked beans? They're like a tomato base, like it's yeah. So then tomatoes again for the vitamin C. So I like to do sort of like a southern kind of dish pairing like that.
That sounds amazing, and I want to have that for dinner like tonight. So
I'm thinking of like
local.
Yeah,
Tomorrow. Like local cleanse meal, you'll have some cold.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm thinking of too, because you know how you can make kale chips. I wonder if collard chips are something that can be done too. I've never tried it before, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head, it probably would be similar. And kale chips are so easy to make, and like they don't taste like anything. Well, I guess they just taste like the seasonings you put on it.
Yeah.
So that would probably be something to experiment with.
Yeah,
potentially.
Or dehydrated, maybe. Can you dehydrate greens? Like,
yeah, without my dehydrator.
I was gonna say, you have one. Have you dehydrated greens before?
No, I haven't, but that's something I should try because they wouldn't take that long.
Yeah. And then you have that. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So sorry, someone's asking where to get liquid smoke from, and I mean, I find most grocery stores carry liquid smoke. It's in like the spice department, right? That's where I find it. Probably like if you can't find it at your No Frills, try like a Loblaws or a Whole Foods or something. But
and you might, maybe they're not like just familiar with how to look for it, so you might have like walked by it but you didn't know that's what it was. So it comes in like I'll let you guys keep chatting. I'll go grab my jar of it, but it comes in like a bottle.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing because it smells like smoke and then it makes it taste
and
smoky. It's so strange.
I don't understand how it's made, but it is vegan and like I like to add it to cheese if I'm doing like a nut cheese or something. It's really good. Smoky taste.
Yum. I also like to use smoked paprika, which like that would only be for things that like smoked like paprika would be good in, but again, gives it a good smoky flavor.
So this is like the kind of thing. So like you said, it will usually be I think and like where there's other
like with the Worcestershire sauce and
and you'll see it has just like a teeny tiny, like you just need a few drops. So if it's your first time cooking with liquid smoke, you don't want to add like a teaspoon. Add like a couple, like literally like 2 or 3 drops at a time. Taste it, see how I can. Oh my god, I can like already smell it. See how you like it.
I was like really late to the liquid smoke train, and when I discovered it, it was just like, it's so good.
Another thing I was going to talk about, I feel like I've been on a hummus kick, just in terms of like discovering different kinds of hummuses, if that's correct.
Hummus.
So like again, it's good because oftentimes a lot of hummus, like the basic hummus recipe will have like chickpeas and lemon juice and stuff. Sorry, there's really loud construction going on. Sorry, just distracted me.
Thought that
I
was
just
like
worried
a
about-
cat.
Me too.
Yeah, you could hear it. Yeah, but so that again is that like vitamin C absorption with the iron thing. But lately I've discovered some really tasty sort of like variations of hummus. So like you could have hummus like every week and it would be exciting still. So there's like this Thai peanut butter hummus that I discovered recently. That's like super good. It's like spicy. It's like a mix, like obviously, like I said, there's peanut butter that's mixed in. And I forget if I think there's probably maybe lime juice, like in place of lemon juice. And then there's like some like sriracha or something like that. And that's really good. And then you can also find recipes, like I'm sure if you just like Googled it, you'll find a recipe that's, you know, good as the ones that I've been using. There's like you can make sweet potato hummus. You can make, I've seen like a roasted beet hummus before. So again, in these cases, it's like you'll put half chickpeas, but half of the recipe will be like these other vegetables and things like that. And there's also, I've made before, I know you guys have tried like this black bean orange hummus, which is really good. So that's like a real twist. It's like black beans instead of chickpeas, and then again like orange juice instead of lemon juice. Yeah, so there's lots of ways you can do that. And then yeah, that's again, you've got your protein and your iron. We're not hitting the calcium on that one, but
Tahini. Doesn't tahini
oh yeah,
have
right,
a lot of
you're right.
calcium?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. Sorry, we missed that in the intro. Tahini, things made basically with sesame seeds are good sources of calcium. So yeah, that would include tahini. You're right.
I've been doing a lot of cooking with tahini lately because I can't be trusted to have a jar of peanut butter at home because I will just like eat the whole thing on crackers, but I'm not a fan of tahini like that. So I can still cook with it. So like everywhere where I used to use peanut butter in cooking, I've been using tahini, and
Oh, that's
yeah,
neat.
like I made some tahini granola on the weekend, and that was good. So
Can
yeah.
you tell us more about that? Where does that come in? Like into the granola? Yeah.
So like when you're mixing the sort of the liquids and heating them up a little before you add it to the granola, I just added some, I think it was like a half a cup of tahini in with the coconut oil and the maple syrup, and yeah, it's really yummy.
That is so cool. That sounds yummy.
Does it get sticky after, or it stays?
No,
pretty,
yeah.
Like,
It's not sticky at all. Yeah.
yum.
Someone commented dessert hummus, which I've never actually tried, but I've heard is like a thing. There's like chocolate hummus and
Really? I was gonna
Yeah.
say, question or comment? Can you ask them to tell us more?
Sure, tell us more about dessert hummus, Katie, Sarah.
I've definitely seen it, and
Yeah.
like my first reaction, I was like, what? But then there's like black bean brownies, so I feel like it
Exactly.
would probably be really good.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
that I like doubt anymore. Like when someone tells me something and I'm like, that sounds weird, because yeah, I feel like there's been some things like that again, like even that like black bean orange hummus, like my partner,
Yeah.
he like won't eat it even though I made it, and I'm like, try this, it's so good. And he's like, no, what do you mean orange in your hummus? And like, it's so good.
My sister tries to make like muffins and brownies to get her kid to eat more greens and black beans and healthy things. And so she just stuffs these like muffins so full of black beans and spinach and protein powder. And she says like every recipe she makes, she adds a little more of those things, and then it gets to a point where it tastes healthy and it doesn't taste like a muffin anymore, and then he won't eat it. So she has to start all over again.
That's interesting. I've heard of like bean things, but I haven't heard of spinach in muffins before. How does that, again, like, is that like just mixed in with the batter, like raw spinach?
Yeah, like I think you just grind it up like if you were making a pesto or something. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Like
So
I'm
there's
thinking like zucchini bread or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So the dessert hummus woman has come back with you can make so many flavors. She likes dessert hummus with peanut butter, which sounds amazing, and probably also something that I can't be trusted with. So
But like, so again, so do you think like you would put in like, is it like you'd put in most of the regular hummus ingredients but then just add something sweet, or would you
and maybe a little bit of maple syrup or something, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
just
not.
a little.
The lemon juice and something
Yeah.
else.
at the same time, it's like, well, some desserts like have lemon juice.
That's true. Yep.
Pancakes.
Ooh, I guess you could make like a lemon, like a I'm thinking of like, on pancakes, how you can put like lemon and sugar. I'm thinking like along that line, that would be really good as a flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Add a dash of sugar to your hummus, I guess. Or like you said, maple syrup.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
maple syrup. So maple syrup and that would be good. Mhm.
I have a lot of things to try after this.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by the collared chips. I just feel like that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that those would turn out really well too, because you know how some kale is like really, really curly.
Yeah.
Like the collard chips, they would kind of stay like chips. So it might be kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mhm.
So this is a good time to plug our Instagram stories, because if folks who are watching this don't follow us on Instagram, Toronto Veg is our Instagram handle. And during this pandemic time, we've been posting stories about our cooking adventures. So if you want to find out how collard green chips turn out, I have a funny feeling somebody's going to try them in the next couple of days. So we'll definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Do we have another? Did you freeze, Barbie?
No.
Okay.
It's like,
I was going to say, someone touched on breakfast earlier. I think, Lainey, you had mentioned something about.
oh yeah.
So as you guys know, but for everyone else, so I love savory oatmeal. So there's a couple of versions that I have that I make. One is sort of, again, like sort of a Southwest one. So it's like, instead of putting in sugar and cinnamon and that kind of thing, you put in like some black pepper, some cumin, some chili powder, still some salt, some pepper, and yeah, so in that case, what I like to do, so you could add in any leafy green, like you could add in, I usually would, spinach again was like the best one, I feel like, for texture. So that would be good for iron. But I haven't tried it with collards. And again, you probably could. So towards the end of the cooking time, also a little bit of agave nectar if you want it a little bit sweet. And then, yeah, add in the spinach or the greens, and also some just frozen corn near the end. That's really good. And then there's another version that I do that also has like turmeric and nutritional yeast. And then it's like nice and cheesy. But again, it's just like another opportunity where you can kind of throw in greens. And you could also, if you're trying to get some extra, like basically anything, protein, iron, calcium, omega-3s, is with oatmeal, you can always just throw in whatever whack of seeds and nuts that you want. So whatever it is that you're missing that day, if you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to have any omega-3s today, then you can like throw in some hemp seeds, or like throw in some walnuts. And again, like all seeds and nuts will be high in protein, and then each one has kind of got its own special thing. Pumpkin seeds, again, are like high in zinc and iron, and sesame seeds for calcium. So
Actually have like a dinner oatmeal dish that I haven't made in a while, but I really like. It's like savory steel cut oats and leek soup, which is
that sounds really good, actually, because I really like potato leek soup. And when the potato, similar to when I make the chili, when like the potato has like really broken down and it makes it kind of like a stew, that's always my favorite part, when I'm like, it's like almost, I don't know, just like thick potatoey. So the oats in it would like quicken that up, I feel like.
Yeah, and it just gives it like a nice texture. And it would be another place where you could easily throw in like a whole whack of spinach or kale or something. Yeah. And leeks are so tasty.
Yeah. I've never made savory oatmeal before. So yeah, I feel like that's something to try, because it sounds like it's like I always think of how rice pudding, like rice is typically, you'll eat it in like a savory way, but rice pudding, that's the thing. And I've been eating a lot of rice pudding for breakfast, because I love rice pudding, and now you can just like let it do its thing. And oh my goodness, so whole grains, I guess it's definitely not the best for you, but oh well.
Speaking of which, actually, so in terms of like, again, like a good source of like protein and also calcium, so quinoa, I know I've heard, so quinoa obviously is a really good source of a whole bunch of things. It's like a complete protein, again, it's high in calcium. It's really nutritious. I've heard people talk about making, like either like using quinoa in place of oats to do like something similar to oatmeal or like rice pudding. Have you guys ever tried any of that? I have not.
I haven't, but I do make this like cheesy quinoa thing where you just sort of like, you boil the quinoa and then you add milk and nooch and veggies to just sort of, so I guess it's very much like the texture of like a savory oatmeal when it's done, but it's using quinoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen like, I feel like I've seen like recipes, they'll call it like breakfast quinoa or something. And it's like made or breakfast or like quinoa porridge. So it will be made with like soy milk and again, like maple syrup and cinnamon. And I feel like I've never done it just because like it would take long. I think it takes longer to cook because it has to cook like quinoa. So it will take like 15, 20 minutes. Whereas like oats, they can cook in like 5-10, unless they're steel cut oats like yours. But you have an Instant Pot, so it doesn't take that long, does it?
It still does, because the Instant Pot has to come up to pressure, right? So it takes a good like 10-15 minutes to come up to pressure before it starts cooking. So
but you bring up a good point, if, you know, if you're working from home right now and you can have it just cooking in the background.
My breakfasts have gotten so elaborate since we've been working from home, because they can be so.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, because I was thinking originally that I haven't made quinoa in that way, but there's actually, I totally have, because you can buy quinoa flakes, which is like a substitute for like instant oatmeal basically. So yeah, I've totally had that before and it's pretty much the same. It's definitely more pricey, so probably just buying like the quinoa as the kernels and doing it, that would be a lot more affordable. But yeah, the flakes, I was like pleasantly surprised, because originally, I don't know, like this was like a while back too, oats, I couldn't do oats for a little bit to like work up to those, but now so quinoa flakes, if those are ever in the grocery store.
Cool.
Do we have any other questions? Comments?
No other questions, just the person chimed back in with a recipe for chocolate hummus, so you should probably check the comment feed when we're done here.
That sounds really cool, as if I need more chocolate in my life, more excuses and things to bake with chocolate. I'm just going to add like another just sort of like tip, I guess, then for how to get, you know, good protein and good calcium, in terms of like all the different sort of like milks, alternative milks out there. There's so many different new ones that are coming out on the market and everything. And really like the best one from a nutritional standpoint still seems to be soy milk, if you don't have any sort of allergies or any reason to avoid it. That is still like the highest milk in terms of protein content. Usually a lot of the milks will be fortified similarly with other things like calcium and other vitamins and minerals and things like that. But soy milk definitely stands out in terms of like just having a complete nutritional profile. So again, I find that it's like, if there's like a day where I'm sort of like thinking about what I'm going to be eating that day, and it's like, oh, am I missing like this or that? Then like, you know, when I'm making my smoothie, I'll make a smoothie that has soy milk, or like, you know, you can feel good about having, like, I love all different kinds of like children's cereals and things, which may not in and of themselves be that nutritious, but it's like, oh, I'll just have like cereal with soy milk this morning, and I started my day. You know what I do sometimes is I will have like also on hand at the same time like a box of like something like bran flakes or like bran buds or some healthier cereal, and I find that I actually like I'll mix like half. Yeah, so I'll have like half.
To do that when I was like,
really?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's always like the compromise, like mixing like the healthier with like the sugary one, and it was always all bran and mixing it with like something else like Captain Crunch, or what are they called, sugar puffs or something like that, sugar crisp. Sugar crisp. Oh my gosh,
it's like the opposite of picking the marshmallows out of the Lucky Charms and leaving but
you totally don't like notice, like it's not bad, like it's totally like it doesn't like, although I feel like even like those like when you get used to it, like all bran and bran flakes, they're actually quite like a little bit sugary, like they kind of don't.
I like them,
but so
oatmeal crisp.
I feel like that's a good one. Nectar, you You guys ever have Vector cereal?
Mhm.
No, I've never had Vector, but I remember Special K being really, really good. Just like the plain Special K for some reason, I really liked that. I don't know why, but it was kind of on the
Special K,
sugary side.
that's one of the ones that you can use in place of Rice Krispies to make like Rice Krispie squares and stuff like that,
Oh.
right?
Yeah. Is there
Ooh.
two, like, are Special K better for you than Rice Krispies?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably the same.
Different texture.
I guess thinking about soy milk too, even in like tea and coffee, if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
drinking that throughout the day, that's probably also good if you just like maybe pour a little bit more in or something like that, or if you just need something. Because I know even now I've been drinking so much more tea. I feel like even, I don't know, I'll just like have the kettle on constantly, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's ironic. It's funny because, like, so almonds, like, in and of themselves, like when you eat an almond, they're like very high in calcium. But it's weird, apparently, like, yeah, for whatever reason, like if like when it's processed into almond milk, that's like, yeah, like if you look at the nutritional profile of almond milk versus soy milk, like it's got like almost nothing really that good for you in it. So it's like kind of like a useless milk, and it's so trendy and it's so popular. I don't know. Have you guys found like that it actually? Because I haven't ever like even like noticed that like it tastes better, and I'm always wondering like why is everyone into almond milk versus soy milk? Is it just?
I think it was that whole soy bad rap thing, and then almond was the next most easily accessible. But now I think it's sort of being eclipsed for oat milk, which is sort of
oat
better
milk is like,
so
yeah, and it's so, oat milk is so easy to make yourself too.
Oh, right.
You literally, you take some oats, you take some water, maybe like a little bit of sugar, flavor, whatever. You blend it for like 10 seconds, but you have to make sure you've got cold water because the oats will get kind of slimy. And then you just drain it through some cheesecloth, maybe like 2 times, and that's it. It's like, okay, that's easy. So that's something that I tried out, but just like drink wise, I know, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think also with almond milk, there's more choices, but I also think that kind of came out of like the huge boom and popularity, because I actually like the texture of soy milk better.
Yeah,
I find it's creamier.
Yeah, it's more like real milk, right? Like I always thought milk was kind of like watery.
Yeah,
like, I've actually even had it in like so many years, so maybe like I don't even know.
The only thing that I always use almond milk for, and I don't know why it's so good in this, is in rice pudding. Don't know why, but yeah, consistently, almond milk always makes the best rice pudding. So yeah.
Maybe in that case, you do want something lighter, right? In a rice pudding, because you don't want.
Yeah, that's true.
Power.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wonder what the next plant-based milk will be.
Pea protein milk, probably, because that's becoming yeah. Right, well, I think
made.
we're probably coming up on time, right? Do we want to call it for this week?
Sure. Last call for any additional questions. Feel free also for anyone that's listening, or if you watch this afterwards when it's posted later, if you have any topics that you want us to cover in a future week, feel free to let us know. And again, even if you're watching this video at a later date, you can just send us an email to admin@veg.ca. So that's ADMIN, admin@veg.ca. Yeah, and just send us an email with like the subject line, like Veg 101 question or something like that. And yeah, we'll try to answer it for you. So thanks a lot. And we'll just remind everyone, again, if you're enjoying these videos and this free programming and things that we're doing for the community right now, we really encourage you to try to support the TBA. It's a really important time for us right now, and we are gearing up to celebrate our 75th birthday in June. So even if you already are a member, if you have, a few dollars that you can donate to support us, that's great. And if you're not yet a member, consider joining. Check out veg.ca. And yeah, we'll see you maybe next week.
Do you want an update before we shut off?
Oh my gosh.
He started.
No.
So,
that's amazing. He's wearing a skin coat.
Yeah. And next week,
he's been like running himself all against me. And I was like, oh my gosh, pumped out. But yeah, so yeah. update finished. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Probably
Mhm.
see you next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.